So yesterday I was surfing the web for some gaming news, and out of the corner of my eye there was an article that caught my attention, and it was titled The Wayward Realms. And I want to give a shout out to a channel member by the name of Fate who mentioned this title during one of my live streams, and because of that I absolutely took notice and I did not regret looking into it. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about an upcoming RPG with some really bold claims by the name of, you guessed it, The Wayward Realms. If you guys enjoy gaming news, reviews, that rhymes, lore videos, live streams, and much more, I would appreciate if you guys would hit that subscribe button and help me get to 100,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. Links to my Twitter and my Discord server will be below. Let's get right into it. I'm out of breath. The Wayward Realms is an upcoming open-world fantasy RPG where choice, consequence, scope, and role-playing will be experienced like never before in a realistically scaled open world in a new class of game called the Grand RPG. This game is aiming to offer an experience like none other, with designs meant to be as immersive as possible, with an ever-evolving story being coerced by a virtual game master. I know that many of your ears just perked up after hearing that, especially on my channel. Players will be surviving in a massive open world, and in quotation marks, that will be way bigger than most other games you can think of. So there's your first set of bold claims for this seemingly very ambitious project, and I will be circling back to them later in the video. The footage that you're seeing right now is the 50-second teaser trailer that was released on August 1st of this year, 2021, and I'll let this trailer play out at the end of the video with the sound on for those of you guys that want to watch it like that. It is a pre-rendered trailer captured in Unreal Engine 5 that is supposed to showcase some of the game's assets and a tiny bit of procedural generation in the distant buildings, so look out for that. The company behind the Wayward Realms is called Once Lost Games, and this is their first game. According to various articles, the team consists of former Elder Scrolls devs, which sounds cool but doesn't really mean anything until we know what these devs have actually done. I've noticed that many other games will say things like this, or many other companies, but then I can never actually find any good info on the devs themselves. Luckily though, it's not the case here. Once Lost Games was started by Julian LaFay and Ted Peterson, both of whom are original developers for the Elder Scrolls series. Julian Fay was a chief engineer at Bethesda in its early glory days, and Peterson was the lead designer for the Elder Scrolls Daggerfall, a 1996 open-world RPG. Another notable name at Once Lost is Vijay Lakshman, who was the lead designer of the Elder Scrolls Arena. So these guys are kind of OGs of the Elder Scrolls, which in my opinion is a very good thing, as the Elder Scrolls is one of the most beloved gaming franchises of all time. This game has also been referred to as a spiritual successor of Daggerfall, and if we take a look at Once Lost's Twitter page, we can see this tweet. Daggerfall was home to thousands of cities and towns, something which we are aiming to replicate with Wayward Realms. Daggerfall tended to lack variety though, which we are aiming to replicate. Oh, I read that wrong. Crap. Daggerfall tended to lack variety though, which we plan to improve this time around. So if you want to get a good idea about one of the major influences for this game, look up Daggerfall. Just keep in mind that it was a 1996 game, probably before some of you guys were born. Jumping over to the Wayward Realms website, it says, the Wayward Realms aims to revivify the RPG genre by applying modern development standards and quality of life advancements to the design philosophy of classic role-playing games. So a company that wants to stay true to the classic RPG genre that is also being led by designers of some of the biggest classic RPGs does make me pretty excited. Wayward Realms is going to be a single-player game, and the company is currently focused on the PC version of the game. However, they did state on Twitter that they do want to bring it to consoles. They just don't want to make any promises yet. Once Lost said that with the hardware of the new generation consoles and Unreal Engine making it easier to port, that consoles are a good possibility. This game is said to be mainly a first-person game, but it's also planning on supporting a third-person perspective, which is similar to how many of the Elder Scrolls games are. The sad news is that this game is still very early on in its development, and as you can kind of tell by the trailer, so we have no release date or really any idea whatsoever when it's going to come out, but I'll be sure to keep you updated on this channel. Alright, now let's jump into some more information on the world, the evolving experience and story, the role-playing, the class system, and some lore. The Wayward Realms is set on a group of over 100 realistically scaled islands known collectively as the Archipelago, where scores of factions vie for influence and power. Kingdoms strive to maintain their dominance, upstarts seek to earn a place at the top, and dynasties set generational plots into motion. Should the player earn a position of prominence, they may change the course of history. However, they must first prove their worth battling rivals, mercenaries, monsters, spirits, and demons. On their quest for fame and fortune, players will venture through strange lands, delve into foreboding dungeons, and traverse kingdoms full of humans, elves, orcs, dwarves, and a few other unusual races. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this world is apparently way bigger than most other games you can think of. So I'm not really sure what that means, but I'm assuming it means the game's pretty damn big. There's going to be huge cities with hundreds or thousands of NPCs, deep forests, sprawling mountain ranges, swamps, oceans, and more, all brought to life through their dynamic procedural generation system. In terms of the constantly evolving experience and story, this brings us back to the virtual game master concept. The virtual game master is supposed to keep things interesting by making other characters and their factions reach and plot their next move based on your actions, and this will result in no two players having the same exact experience. If you take on the role as a thief entrenched in underworld conspiracies, or maybe you become a more socializing aristocrat, or even a scholar focused on collecting artifacts, your decisions and the life in game that you take on will create unique world events. Have a listen to Julian LaFay talk a little about how things will be evolving and changing around you from your actions that may become public news in the game, or maybe you can even keep things quiet.
And also what becomes public, right? Like things that you do that might be public or clearly known to many people or to a town or to nobility or whatnot will become news potentially, right? You maybe you can read about it in the little paper, whatever they have that passes for newspapers, right? So and other things will not. If you break in somewhere, well, probably it's not going to be particularly well known if you do it right. Thieves Guild might take notice for sure, but they may not necessarily know who it is. You may not know who the Thieves Guild are in that town. So, and so that you don't know that whoever you talk to or whoever knows about things, you won't know necessarily how it spreads or if it spreads. And if you do know, you can certainly make sure it spreads if that's your goal.
I'll leave a link to that video below if you guys want to check it out. It's a pretty technical video, but it starts to get really interesting when you realize the lengths that this company is seemingly going to ensure that your actions are going to have truly rippling effects in the world. So as of now, if this actually works well and is implemented correctly, this game is looking like it's going to have a hell of a lot of replayability. It's also important that I bring up that there is going to be a pretty big faction system in this game, probably similar to factions in the Elder Scrolls, and depending on who you engage with, who you help, or who you anger, this is all going to have a huge effect on the world itself. The class system in this game is not going to be your typical class system. In Wayward Realms, your class will be your design. There will be customized skills and abilities allowing you to craft your own spells, potions, and enchantments. If you do want to do something really outside of the box, apparently this game has got you covered. In terms of the lore in the game, there's going to be a lot to learn. The game will have that traditional medieval fantasy look, but if you choose to dig deep, you're going to find all sorts of lore. There's multiple moons in the sky, each of which have their own lore. Libraries filled with books, multiple cultures of each race, and much, much more. Have a listen to Ted Peterson talk a little bit about the Library of Logos, which is going to be a very important location in the game, especially for the lore, but also many other things.
And we've been concentrating on a a location that you encounter very early in the game, and it's very important for the main story. And it really has two names. It's called the Great Library, or the Library of Logos. And so I think that this first image is something that we've already released, which is kind of a cross section of the library. And none of this is A to scale or B, completely represents it. But the idea is that this is enclosed in a huge mountain, and the library is actually something that one of the main antagonists of the game, we call it the Inquisition, has been trying to find for a long period of time, and you come across it. And so a whole lot of the beginning of the game is definitely exploring its mysteries.
So all of you lore lovers out there, it seems like we're going to be getting our fair share of lore right in the beginning of the game. And that will be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Of course, we don't have much information and much video proof about this game, and it's still so far away from its release. Probably a couple years, I'm thinking, but I really don't know. But either way, I was happy that I looked into this game, and I'm enjoying the bold claims that's coming out of this company. It's always good to not overhype games, because then you're let down. But you know what? These guys are setting the bar pretty damn high. Even if they don't reach it, I still feel like this game might end up being pretty good, and that's when, especially these days with modern day RPGs, in my opinion, kind of declining a little bit in quality. Not all RPGs, but in a general sense. Do you guys agree with that? Let me know below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like, subscribe, and oh god, here we go again. This part. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more stupid endings like this. See ya.